Today we're going to be tackling some backyard homestead maintenance. We're going to talk about what's changed in the garden since our last video. I'm going to show you a montage of us cleaning out our chicken coop back there. We're also going to be feeding the garden today, and we're going to be checking for pests before they get out of control. I feel like I always start off my videos with either my tomatoes or my peppers, and today it's my tomatoes. The big update with my tomatoes is I'm finally starting to see some forming. I'll show you in just a second. And they're officially taller than me. At least this monster one I have over here. Now here's the biggest tomato I've found so far, but I have tons of them coming up. It really is like a little treasure hunt looking for them. We're growing 12 Hungarian heart tomatoes back here in our backyard. We also have 5 more up on our driveway in containers. We chose this variety because they're a good canning variety, good sauce making variety, and we plan to make all of our sauces this year. Every single tomato we get gonna go towards our homemade ketchup, barbecue sauce, salsa, marinara sauce, pizza sauce. I mean, everything that can be made out of tomatoes. I say this every time I talk about my tomatoes. We're going to be making with our tomatoes. In one of my recent videos, I also questioned whether or not I should leave my tomatoes weaved inside of these cattle panel trellises, and I decided to just leave it be because they're already a jungle and life isn't that serious. I'm not going to stress it. If it doesn't work this year, there's always next year. And I also had someone comment saying that that's how she trellises her tomatoes, so I'm not so worried about it. Every single time I come out here, our butternut squashes are just getting bigger and bigger, and great news, these 3 that I transplanted on the end over here, I mean, sure, the original leaves died and I'm gonna pluck these off, but other than that, they're growing. All 3 of them, so that's good news. Our sweet potatoes are also spreading and taking over this bed over here. All right, here's something exciting. I have 45 peppers already pollinated and growing off of these 8 plants I have back here. Here are a few of my green peppers I have. Super exciting. Now, we started growing food in the corner of our driveway just last year. And a few of the things that we had in 5-gallon buckets were sweet banana peppers and green peppers back there. And I just want to say that, yes, 5-gallon buckets are a great place to start. I wouldn't have had it any other way. However, these plants are already outperforming the bucket system that we had last year, and it's only the end of June right now. Now, the peppers in those 5-gallon buckets from last year only got about this big. So I already know that these plants are about to produce so many peppers I'm not going to know what to do with. So I guess the lesson I'm learning is, now it's not rocket science, but the more room your plants have to grow, the more they're going to thrive, the more food you're going to get, the bigger the harvests. I mean, yeah. And that definitely stands true for my zucchini, because look how big those 2 plants are right there. More on them later, though. I believe it was in my very last video I made where I pulled up one of my garlics, and it's time to pull them up. I'm going to pull them up. I'm going to save it for another video, though. Feel free to subscribe so you don't miss that video of me pulling up all of my luscious garlic. A majority of my onions are definitely a fail for this year, though. That's all right. I'm learning. I can tell where some of them are sizing up, but something got into this bed and knocked over a bunch of them, and they're just not going to be storage onions at all. I do keep coming back here and taking tops off for green onions for my eggs, though. So I guess there's a win there, because those are so tasty. Are y'all ready to hear about my green bean drama? Now, I planted 103 green bean plants here on the edges with the intent that they would climb this trellis and look so beautiful, right? I know you can tell the difference between what this side looks like and what this side looks like. Now, just a few nights ago, we were out working in the garden. I was trying to weave these green beans in and out of my cattle panel trellis, thinking like, okay, they're going to start climbing up, when I noticed something. Let's see if you can spot the difference between this side, now going on down to this side. These are bush beans. These are pole beans. These stay small and compact and don't necessarily need a tall trellis like this to climb up. And these are gonna climb up and fill up the trellis. Now I know. How do you not know what kind of bean you're planting? The bush beans are mystery beans from my mother-in-law, which completely fine. I just didn't think about it during the time of planting that they could possibly be bush beans. I just had this vision in mind where I just wanted them all to fill up this trellis, and I just planted away. And it's gonna be all right. But now I'm just not so concerned on why this side looks so much better than this side. Even though this side is starting to catch up and climb and look green and fill out. Now, before I do anything else today, I want to inspect my zucchini and my squash over there for some squash bugs. We got them real bad last year, and if they go unnoticed for too long, they can completely wipe out a plant in just a matter of days. And honestly, that would be a devastating loss for us. First of all, let's look at how big this leaf is. It's almost the size of my head. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier, having more room for your plants to grow so they can get big and thrive and give you more fruit. Our zucchini in our 5-gallon bucket last year didn't get a third of this size. And some good news is I'm starting to see flowers open up, so I should be getting zucchini anytime now. Squash bugs like to hide in the stems and underneath the leaves, and although I see no signs of them so far, I'm still gonna be out here every day looking. And if I ever do find any squash bugs, like adult ones, I pick them off and, get rid of them. And if I ever see any underneath the leaves, like eggs, you'll see little brown clusters of eggs. You just want to wipe them off and get them off your plants. Which I do see. I see an aphid. Oh, just get out of here. I'm not seeing any though. No signs, no nothing. Not yet, at least. It's still early. Let's go check my other plant. For reference on how big this leaf is. Holy smokes. I thankfully didn't see any signs of squash bugs yet, but I know they're coming, so I'm going to keep my eye out on these plants every single day. I actually thought I had one, but this is just a black firefly beetle, which they feed on aphids, so it's a beneficial little insect for your garden. These plants are all starting to take off, so I'm really just trying to stay ahead of the pests and diseases and problems before they start instead of reacting once the damage is already done. Now that we've been talking about a few of the things that have changed around the garden, let's talk about my chickens. In my last video, I mentioned how they're starting to lose the feathers on their backs. I think 4 out of 15 of them. Now, we did take the time a few days ago to clean out the coop, so here's a little montage of that. The first step to coop cleaning day is getting everything necessary out of the coop. Now I'm just going to rake everything into one pile, shovel it into this 5-gallon bucket down here, and keep taking trips out to the compost pile to dispose of all the yucky, dirtiness in here. They're all going bananas in there. Gonna scrub them out too. Here's the diatomaceous earth we found. It's a 40-pound bag. I think it was like, I don't know, 25 bucks at Roll King or something like that. The last time we cleaned out the coop, we left the wood chips in a pile right where we just dumped them at. My husband's gonna go get another load of wood chips, but we just left them right here, and the chickens had the best time scratching at the wood chips, and they really spread around the wood chips throughout the whole coop. So it saved us some labor because we didn't have to manually spread them across the floor, and it gave the chickens something to do. I'm sure I'll be able to catch a video of them scratching the wood chips all over. They just love doing it, so that's what we're gonna That's what we're doing. So yeah, it's a win-win for us both because the chickens get to have fun and forage and scratch and search, and we don't have to spread the wood chips. Oh, and by the way, I am absolutely obsessed with my carrots. So I was out here like 2 days ago just messing around. I dug around the rim, shoved my finger down next to the carrot to try to see how big the carrot was, and it's at least it's at least knuckle deep, and that's about 4 inches. And I sure did take a tape measure and measure where the dirt ran up to. Right here. From right here. So yeah, not a weirdo or nothing. I think I might pull one just to see. All right, I think I'm gonna do it. Oh my god. Yeah, I know how to grow carrots now. Bugs Bunny would be proud. I am absolutely gonna plant way more carrots for this fall. And what did I tell you? At least knuckle deep. I'm gonna go ahead and start feeding my garden. I'm gonna put 1 to 2 tablespoons of this bone meal at the bases of my tomato plants and my pepper plants. The bone meal goes straight into the soil for a slow release of phosphorus, and it's good for long-term fruit development. I don't want to touch it with my bare hands, so I do have a glove on, and I'm just gonna take a little handful of it and sprinkle it right at the base of the plant. We're gonna do the same thing for my peppers over here, and now until the end of the season, I'm gonna come back and do this about every 2 weeks or so. We're gonna add in some fish emulsion. Making the fertilizer into a liquid tea, as we like to call it, makes the nutrients available to the plant as soon as it hits the roots. Whereas the bone meal you saw me apply earlier to my tomatoes and peppers is a slow release, so as it breaks down, that's when the nutrients become available to the plants to soak up. And I just pulled 9 eggs out of the coop too. It's absolutely crazy to me just how fast the garden can change when you're not looking. Now I'm just waiting on my tomatoes to ripen, my squash to start producing, and keeping an eye out for pests as we continue to move deeper into the summer months. If you liked this video, I'll put another one up on screen that I think you'll enjoy. And until then, stay blessed, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.